Epicurus is one of the most significant figures in the history of philosophy as well as science. He is less renowned than Plato or Socrates, but nonetheless, his teachings are invaluable and timeless. He lived between 341 and 270 BC and authored over 300 works during his lifetime. Most of his writings have been lost, but what remains is extremely relevant even today. In science, he was among the first to describe the natural world as being composed of atoms and correctly understood that all natural phenomena are essentially based on the movement of atoms. Additionally, he strongly emphasized the importance of grounding our beliefs in empirical evidence and logic. In philosophy, he was part of the hedonistic movement and was most famous for his insightful perspectives on the concept of happiness, founding his own school of happiness, also known as Epicurean hedonism or simply Epicureanism. While the Stoics believed that living justly and virtuously is the highest good, and that we should be indifferent to pleasure and pain, Epicureanism held that we should strive to maximize the pleasures in life. There were some rumors that, in his school, people indulged in orgies, luxury, and decadence, but these rumors were baseless. Epicurus had no interest in orgies and lavish meals. His idea of pleasure is far from the classical notion. He diverged from the classical school of hedonism, which viewed pleasure as the highest good, by asserting that the pleasure of the mind, not the pleasure of the senses, is the true highest good. He believed that the greatest happiness comes from reducing suffering and achieving an inner state of peace, which he called ataraxia. Ataraxia means being content with simple things in life, like having philosophical discussions about the meaning of life in your small garden with your best friends. According to Epicurus, the pleasure derived from the pursuit of wisdom is the highest form of pleasure and the most valuable, as it leads us to true happiness. To understand more about Epicurus's teachings and how we can apply them to our own lives, here are 8 life lessons from the philosophy of Epicurus. 1. Be satisfied with little. Epicurus stated, "Do not ruin what you have by yearning for what you lack. Remember that what you now possess was once among the things you only wished for." Epicurus is somewhat similar to the Stoics in advising us to embrace a serene way of life, rather than stressing ourselves to attain unattainable goals. For this, we should minimize the obligations we take upon ourselves as much as possible. We should perform the essential work required for our job, avoid learning things we never use in life, purchase only what we genuinely need, and spend time with those who truly matter to us. Adopt a minimalist lifestyle, and your happiness will be ensured. For example, if you lead a hectic social life, attending parties every weekend, and purchasing excessive items like expensive homes and cars, it is time to make a change. Reduce the number of friends you regularly interact with to only a few close ones who truly matter to you, and make more time for them. Refrain from spending money on things you do not really need. For example, buying a $300 designer t-shirt or taking a loan from the bank to buy a luxury car, even when you can hardly afford the rent. If you constantly complain that you lack the things you desire, or that you have less than your neighbor, you will spoil even the few things you do have, because you will not be in the right mindset to truly appreciate them. For instance, if you wish to have that expensive car like your neighbor, you will start to resent your current car until eventually you stop caring about your current car's appearance. Stop washing and maintaining it regularly, making it less enjoyable to drive, and ultimately making your life miserable. Trying to be satisfied with little might feel strange at first, but soon you will realize how much more peaceful, calm, and ultimately happy you are. You will recognize that you already have everything you truly need in life: a roof over your head, food to eat, a few good friends, good health, and a job where you feel you are contributing to society. By learning to appreciate this, the power of gratitude will make you feel happy effortlessly. 2. Study philosophy throughout your life. Epicurus tells us, "Let no one delay the study of philosophy while young, nor tire of it when old." For Epicurus, philosophy, the love of wisdom, is the cornerstone of a good life. By studying philosophy, we learn to employ reason in all our activities. We become less reliant on luck and more on our ability for self-control, making sound decisions in life. Consequently, through reason, we can live a more tranquil life with reduced stress. Epicurus identified the primary causes of unhappiness as the fear of death and punishment. He also believed that our anxieties lead us to desire too many things in life. Studying philosophy helps to alleviate such anxieties, enabling us to understand that this is the only life we have to live, and there is no punishment in the afterlife. We are free to pursue mental and physical pleasures here on earth, in this lifetime. Philosophy, as a discipline, is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. In theory, when we acquire such knowledge, we would know how to be happy. By learning philosophy, we can develop our rational faculties and learn to make better decisions. We can establish our own ethical system and finally understand the principles of living a joyful life. If you think that your 21st century life is too busy with social media, a demanding job, and numerous commitments, and that you do not have time to study philosophy, you will likely end up living an anxious, perpetually stressed life, feeling that your existence lacks clear meaning, ultimately leading to unhappiness. Being happy can be accidental, but if you study philosophy, it can become a certainty. 3. Learn to rely on yourself. In the words of Epicurus, "It is foolish for a man to pray to the gods for that which he has the power to obtain by himself." Epicurus's philosophy often leans toward materialism, questioning the concept of God. If God is all-powerful, evil cannot be explained. If God cannot eradicate evil, then he is not powerful. If God can eradicate evil but doesn't, he is not benevolent. Epicurus's straightforward logic inspires us to stop relying on an invisible force and instead start relying on ourselves to build a life we truly want to live. Nowadays, even in secular societies, many people believe in karma or the law of attraction, thinking that some invisible forces out there can deliver justice for us. However, in Epicurus's view, this is also foolish. Contrary to this, one might argue that if we do not fear gods or other cosmic entities, there is no objective reason to live justly. For such dilemmas, Epicurus said that living justly, prudently, and honorably means living pleasurably. If you do not live justly, you will always fear being caught, disrupting your peaceful state of mind, leading to anxiety and unhappiness. Therefore, we should strive to do no harm to anyone, even if justice itself is nothing. Relying on yourself involves a certain kind of ethics and confidence in the laws of your land and community. Through the social contract, you can have some guarantee that the likelihood of being harmed is minimal as long as you respect the rules. Thus, instead of believing in gods and placing your trust in them to solve your problems, you should rely on logic, good lawyers, and the justice system of your country, and do what you can to be a good citizen by adhering to the laws. If, for instance, you were a victim of discrimination in your workplace, do not blindly hope that God or a karmic law will punish the wrongdoer, but rather report the case to a higher authority, whether that be upper management of the company or another institution that deals with discrimination cases. Learn to rely on yourself and take the right actions here on earth without expecting supernatural interventions. 4. Develop courage through adversity. To quote Epicurus, "You don't develop courage by being happy in your relationships every day. You develop it by surviving difficult times and overcoming adversity." Epicurus believed that to attain happiness, One needs courage, moderation, and several other virtues. In order to build a life of happiness, you will need courage. The courage to go against the grain, to refuse a high-paying job that comes with too many responsibilities, and to distance yourself from friends who make you unhappy. Every challenge we encounter makes us stronger, more courageous, and better equipped to face similar difficulties in the future. For example, imagine you live in a family home and are the primary breadwinner. You are offered a better job, but it requires relocating to a new city or country. While considering your options, your house catches fire, destroying nearly all your possessions. While this event may feel like a complete disaster at the time, it will make you stronger in the long run. It will help you realize that your life does not depend on a location, that your home is wherever your family is, and you will develop greater courage should you ever need to relocate again. Courage develops through difficult times, and we need to appreciate even those challenging moments because they make us stronger. The stronger we are, the easier it will be to bounce back and be happy again. 5. Get great friends. Epicurus noted, of all the means which wisdom acquires to ensure happiness throughout the whole of life, by far the most important is the acquisition of friends. Despite often advocating for self-sufficiency, Epicurus also acknowledged the importance of cultivating lasting friendships. He described friendship in very high terms, highlighting the altruistic attitudes one can have towards friends. Epicurus even said that the wise man is sometimes willing to die for a friend. He also mentioned that without friends, life is solitary and vulnerable to dangers. Many communities of Epicureans were formed by his followers, spreading around the Mediterranean Sea and later transforming into Christian monasteries. These communities embodied the ideal of friendship. Everyone lived in friendly harmony with each other. The first Epicurean school and community was called the Garden, welcoming people from all walks of life. It was one of the first to demand that slaves be treated as any other humans. Women were also welcomed to discuss philosophy just like men. These women, known as courtesans, enjoyed freedoms that married women didn't have. Epicurean communities helped each other become better people, overcome character flaws, and highly valued trust and honesty. There was also great respect for each other's individuality. Friendships are often formed based on a common need, but the most crucial aspect of a friendship is the process of sharing. It is very important to have someone to whom we can turn to share our deepest fears, secrets, and goals in life. Building friendships takes time. We need to do it step by step, gradually revealing more aspects of ourselves to new friends. In time, when we acquire a sufficient number of friends, we can form a small community, much like an Epicurean one, where everyone is friends with everyone else, sharing common interests and goals. With platforms like Meetup, anyone can start a community based on a particular interest, hobby, literature club, sports club, or even a philosophy club. Start small with a small group and advance slowly, making your life more pleasant, friend by friend. 6. Do not strive to be popular. Epicurus once remarked, I never desired to please the rabble. What pleased them, I did not learn, and what I knew was far removed from their understanding. Contrary to Plato and Aristotle, who encouraged lovers of philosophy to engage in politics, Epicurus was against investing time in political and social life, claiming that social dynamics would only leave you anxious. He affirmed that it is better to live being unknown by society, known only by a few friends, but the best ones. However, living in the 21st century, it is very hard to avoid being exposed due to the fact that we are all now on social media. We are constantly tempted to showcase ourselves online and garner as many likes as possible. Now, everyone can become a mini influencer, a minor celebrity in their own social media bubble. Studies on the impact of social media on teenagers have shown that these activities increase anxiety and even the rate of teenage suicides. We need to minimize our exposure to social networks as much as possible, using them only when truly necessary, like connecting with former high school colleagues, wishing a distant relative a happy birthday, or sharing genuinely important moments in our lives with close ones, such as graduating or having a child. Sharing a picture of your breakfast, no matter how delicious, would not count as important. Also, do not alter your personality to fit a certain group. For example, if you are a writer, do not write solely to appeal to a large audience, but write about topics that genuinely interest you. This way, you will be your authentic self, and the right readers will find you. Otherwise, you will live a life of anxiety, always worried about how the audience will react to your work, and this is not a life of happiness. Epicurus believed that there is no point in pleasing the masses, so one should strive for authenticity to reduce anxiety and increase happiness in life. 7. Don't fear death. Epicurus posits, death, the most awful of evils, is nothing to us, seeing that when we are, death is not come, and when death is come, we are not. We all fear death. It is a common fear. Even the thought of our life ending makes us uncomfortable. However, Epicurus was critical of people who spend too much time thinking about death. He believed that as long as we are alive, death does not exist. Epicurus didn't believe in an afterlife himself, but he did believe that a part of our anxiety comes from the belief that we have created an unpleasant afterlife for ourselves. We are not afraid of death itself, but of the process of dying. For Epicurus, our mind is merely a collection of atoms that disbands when we die. If death is our annihilation, then it is nothing to us, as it does not affect the living. For death to be bad for someone, that person must exist, but when we are dead, we no longer exist. Thus, there is no point in fearing something that, when it arrives, we will not be part of. It is foolish to worry about death. Instead, think of it as a reason to enjoy your life now. For Epicurus, the most important thing in life is happiness. And to achieve happiness, we need to reduce suffering, including the suffering that comes from contemplating death. To be happy, we should focus only on things we can control, like improving our health, avoiding negative people, eating healthily, participating in sports, and so on. Make a list of everything you can do to strengthen your body and limit the time you spend thinking about death. Spend more time with your loved ones. Appreciate them while they are alive, and do not wait until they are gone to value them. Do not let the death of loved ones, or the fear of your own death, overshadow your life. Learn to enjoy your life moment by moment. Be grateful that you are still alive, respect your body, practice sports daily, and eat more healthily. Life is meant to be lived by enjoying it, not by dwelling on what happens when it is over. 8. Strive to achieve peace of mind. In our final quote from Epicurus for this video, he says, "Tranquil pleasure constitutes human beings' supreme good." Epicurus identified 3 main mistakes we make regarding happiness. The first is that we equate happiness with friendship and sexual relationships. In reality, happiness does not go hand in hand with passionate love, which often involves the very selfish desire to possess another person, invoking feelings of jealousy that lead to anxiety and unhappiness. Regarding friendships, most of our connections are not that strong. As we grow older, many of us often don't see our closest friends enough, as work and family life tend to become more important. We need something more solid to become truly happy. The second mistake is that we equate happiness with money and fame, but in reality, too much money and fame eventually lead to frustration and anxiety. Real happiness comes when you work with a small group of trusted people to make a positive impact on the lives of others. The third mistake is that we chase after luxurious things, trying to possess as much stuff as possible. This also does not lead to happiness. because what we really want is a sense of calm and peace. Epicurus proposes a simpler kind of life, using the concept of ataraxia, which is the purest form of happiness, meaning the absence of fear and anxiety. Ataraxia literally means imperturbability or tranquility. For Epicurus, ataraxia is the ultimate goal of life. Epicurus stated that pleasure is the highest good, and mental pleasures are higher than physical pleasures. If we remove physical pain from our lives, we achieve a state known as aponia. If we remove mental disturbances, we achieve ataraxia. To achieve happiness, you need to focus more on increasing the pleasant moments in your life, particularly the mental pleasures, with minimal effort. The closest state to ataraxia is when you feel at peace with yourself, with others, and with the world in general. According to Epicurus, all you need is a group of friends and a garden. A life spent discussing philosophy under the shade of a tree with your dear friends is a life lived in ataraxia. You can also achieve such a state of inner peace by practicing meditation, mindfulness, accepting the good, the bad, and the ugly present in your life, making peace with your past, forgiving yourself and others for any mistakes, and developing compassion for everyone in your life. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out our full Philosophies for Life playlist. For more videos to help you find success and happiness using ancient philosophical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.